What's secretly draining your wealth? It's not big mistakes, but small, daily habits like that $6 coffee that quietly empty your wallet. For those over 35 juggling mortgages and retirement planning, these habits are especially dangerous. In this video, we'll expose 7 common habits keeping you poor and show you how to stop the financial bleeding. True financial freedom isn't about one big win. It's about mastering the small, everyday choices.
1. Emotional spending. Emotional spending, the act of purchasing to soothe feelings rather than fulfill needs, is a pervasive habit quietly undermining the financial stability of millions. This behavior is especially common among those in midlife, a period where the combined pressures of work, family, and future planning are at their peak. While this should be a prime time for saving and investing for retirement, it ironically becomes a stage where finances spiral out of control, driven by impulse rather than necessity. The psychology is simple. A purchase provides a fleeting sense of comfort and control in response to stress, boredom, or the feeling that one deserves a treat. However, this temporary relief is swiftly overshadowed by the long-term consequences: uncontrolled cash outflow, mounting credit card debt, and a persistent undercurrent of financial anxiety. This cycle is amplified by a modern consumer culture engineered to exploit our vulnerabilities. E-commerce platforms with flash sales and buy now, pay later options make it easier than ever to make impulsive decisions that feel good in the moment but are damaging in the long run. The true cost of emotional spending is not just the immediate expense, but the lost opportunity for wealth creation. Consider this: spending just $200 a month on non-essential items to manage emotions equates to $2,400 a year. If that same amount were invested with an average annual return of 7%, it would grow to nearly $35,000 in just 10 years. This is the future security being traded for momentary gratification. Fortunately, this is a learned behavior that can be changed. The first step is self-awareness, identifying the emotional triggers that lead to spending. Is it stress after work? Loneliness on a weekend? Recognizing these patterns is the key to regaining control. From there, practical strategies can be implemented. A simple 24-hour rule, waiting a day before making any non-essential purchase, can drastically reduce impulse buys. Budgeting tools can help track cash flow and identify harmful patterns, while creating a list of non-financial coping mechanisms like walking, reading, or talking to a friend provides healthier outlets for managing emotions. Ultimately, emotional spending is not a personal failure, but a common response to modern pressures. Acknowledging it grants you the power to choose a different path. Financial freedom in midlife is not about luck. It is built on disciplined, consistent choices. It hinges on a simple truth: if you don't master your emotions will master your finances, keeping you trapped in a frustrating cycle of high income but stagnant wealth. By taking control of this one habit, you can stop trading long-term security for short-term comfort and build the stable financial future you deserve.
2. Living without a monthly budget, especially during the financially stable years of midlife, is like driving without a map. While it may feel like freedom, this lack of direction is a silent trap that hinders long-term wealth. Many justify this approach by seeking a relaxed financial life, free from the perceived constraints of tracking every dollar. They believe that as long as they spend less than they earn, they are in control. This perceived freedom, however, is an illusion. Without a clear plan, it is impossible to know where money is truly going. Small, seemingly harmless expenses, a daily coffee, streaming subscriptions, or impulse buys from flash sales, accumulate into a significant drain on resources. This is the silent wealth drain, where hundreds or even thousands of dollars leak from an account each year, unnoticed. This leads to the familiar end-of-month panic, reliance on credit cards to cover gaps, and the delay of crucial savings and investment goals. Contrary to common belief, a budget does not restrict freedom. It maximizes it by providing control. It is a tool for empowerment, transforming you from a passive participant into an active manager of your finances. By creating clear spending categories for essentials, wants, and savings, a budget reveals financial blind spots and eliminates waste. For instance, realizing you consistently overspend on dining out gives you the power to make a conscious choice, cut back, find cheaper alternatives, or reallocate funds from another category. This intentionality accelerates wealth building without needing a higher income. This sense of control is critical in midlife when preparing for retirement, healthcare costs, and other long-term goals becomes paramount. A budget provides the clarity needed to make future-oriented decisions with confidence. Modern tools like YNAB, Every Dollar, or a simple spreadsheet make the process straightforward, requiring only a small investment of time each week. More importantly, budgeting transforms spending from a source of guilt into an act of intention. When every dollar has a purpose, you are free to spend on what you value without worry. Ultimately, a budget builds a resilient financial foundation. When unexpected events like a job loss or major repair occur, you are prepared, not panicked. It is the most effective defense against the slow erosion of wealth caused by unplanned spending. Financial security is not achieved by accident, but through disciplined, intentional choices. A budget is the roadmap that ensures you reach your destination efficiently and securely.
3. Buying unnecessary items on installment. In the digital age, buy now, pay later services have transformed shopping into an exercise of instant gratification. Many platforms offer a seductive promise: own what you want now and split the cost into small, manageable, interest-free payments. This sense of ease, however, is a double-edged sword, particularly for those in their middle years when financial stability is paramount. The psychological appeal of BNPL is its ability to fragment our financial awareness. A $1,000 purchase feels daunting, but a series of $80 payments feels harmless. This illusion of affordability encourages spending on non-essential items, a new gadget, designer shoes, or expensive furniture, without feeling the immediate financial impact. This is the core danger. By breaking down payments, we lose sight of our total debt. Multiple small obligations quickly stack up, silently draining hundreds of dollars from monthly cash flow and making it difficult to track where money is going. For individuals in midlife, this is especially critical. This is a crucial period for directing cash flow toward long-term goals, like paying down a mortgage, investing for retirement, or saving for a child's education. Every dollar committed to a BNPL plan for a discretionary purchase is a dollar diverted from wealth-building activities. Furthermore, overuse of these services can negatively impact credit health, potentially hindering access to larger, more important loans for a home or business in the future. The solution is not to banish BNPL entirely, but to approach it with discipline and intention. Before committing, ask a critical question. If I had to pay the full amount in cash today, would I still buy this? If the answer is no, it's a clear sign that the purchase is a want, not a need, driven by the convenience of deferred payment rather than genuine value. Building a strong financial foundation requires prioritizing saving before spending. Pay in full for what you need and value, preserving your cash flow and reducing dependence on credit. Use tracking tools to maintain a clear picture of all installment obligations to ensure nothing is missed. Ultimately, using BNPL for non-essentials puts your financial future on a dangerous autopilot. The easy payment offered today can quickly become a heavy burden tomorrow, trading long-term financial control for fleeting, short-term convenience.
4. Not investing for the long term. A common financial paradox among middle-aged adults is the preference for perceived safety over genuine growth. Despite stable incomes, many fall into the trap of letting their savings sit idle in bank accounts, driven by a fear of market risk. While this strategy offers emotional comfort and shields them from market volatility, it is a profoundly flawed approach to building long-term wealth. The harsh truth is that this feeling of safety is an illusion. The primary adversary is not market crashes, but inflation, the silent force that continuously erodes the purchasing power of cash. A savings account earning 4% interest in a year with 4% inflation has generated zero real growth. You are not building wealth, you are merely preserving capital while its value slowly diminishes. This safe approach is in reality a guaranteed way to lose ground financially over time. In stark contrast, long-term investing is the most proven engine for wealth creation. Historically, broad market indexes like the S&P 500 have delivered average annual returns of 9 to 10%. This rate not only outpaces inflation, but also harnesses the power of compound growth, allowing money to multiply exponentially. For instance, investing $500 a month from age 40 in a low-cost index fund could grow to nearly $500,000 by retirement, a result unattainable through traditional savings. The primary barrier preventing people from capitalizing on this is fear. They view the market as a gamble, focusing on short-term dips while ignoring the long-term trend of recovery and growth. However, by avoiding the manageable risk of market volatility, they unknowingly embrace a far greater and more certain risk: the risk of having insufficient funds for retirement, becoming dependent on Social Security, and failing to achieve true financial freedom. The solution is not reckless speculation, but strategic, disciplined action. For those in midlife, the goal is not to time the market or chase hot stocks. Instead, it is to build a diversified portfolio of broad market ETFs, bonds, and other stable assets. Modern platforms and robo-advisors make this easier than ever, allowing for automated, regular investments that remove emotion from the equation and build wealth steadily. Ultimately, the choice is between the illusion of short-term safety and the reality of long-term security. Idle money does not create prosperity. It only slows the rate of financial decline. True financial security is not found in stagnant cash, but in assets put to work wisely and for the long haul.
5. Holding on to subscriptions you don't use. Have you ever looked at your monthly credit card statement and spotted small charges that you barely noticed? Those charges might be for services you forgot you even had, a Netflix account you no longer watch, a gym membership you haven't used in months, or a digital magazine you downloaded once and never opened again. These are what we call silent financial drainers. They don't make noise, they don't feel threatening, but over time, they slowly and consistently siphon money from your wallet. Especially dangerous if you're in your middle years, when every dollar saved carries strategic weight in preparing for retirement and long-term financial security. Most people hold on to these subscriptions out of convenience. You don't have to think about it every month. You don't have to make the decision to cancel. You just let it sit there, just in case. And because each charge is only a few bucks, it feels harmless. But that very "it's not a big deal" mindset costs millions of Americans hundreds, even thousands of dollars a year on services they rarely, if ever, use. According to research from Rocket Money, formerly Truebill, the average American spends over $350 per year on unused subscriptions. And the number is even higher for middle-aged adults, who often have steady incomes but don't track the small stuff closely. That's money you could be investing into your retirement fund, paying down credit card debt, or setting aside for long-term goals. What's more, holding on to these hidden fees chips away at your sense of financial control. You think you've tightened your budget, but every month, these tiny charges keep draining your account. Over time, this breeds a dangerous mindset. A little waste is fine. But that mindset directly contradicts the discipline and clarity needed for sound financial management. The fix isn't complicated, but it does require intentional action. Take time to go through your bank or credit card statements from the last 3 to 6 months. List every recurring charge, from streaming services and learning apps to work tools and digital magazines. Then ask yourself, when's the last time I actually used this? If you can't remember, it's time to cancel. Better yet, Use tools like Rocket Money, Mint, or YNAB to automatically scan and categorize your subscriptions. With just a few clicks, you could free up hundreds of dollars a year, money that can go straight into investments or debt payments where it actually makes a difference. Remember, smart spending isn't just about how much you earn. It's about how much you keep. And it starts with cutting the waste so you can redirect your resources toward what truly matters. Holding on to unused subscriptions may seem harmless, but it's a quiet habit that undermines your financial progress. And if you're middle-aged, with fewer years left to build wealth, every smart cut, every saved dollar matters more than ever. Take back control of your cash flow, starting with the smallest leaks, because this is how you stop the silent financial bleeding and move one step closer to the financial freedom you deserve.
6. Spending first, saving what's left. In the rush of modern life, especially for middle-aged Americans caught in the squeeze between raising kids and supporting aging parents, saving money often falls to the bottom of the priority list. Many still hold on to a common but dangerous financial habit, spending first and saving only if there's anything left. Emotionally, this approach feels justifiable. You pay the bills, buy groceries, cover family needs, enjoy a little entertainment, take care of the kids, and if by the end of the month there's a few $100s left over, you move it into savings. It creates the comforting illusion that you're trying to prepare for the future, when in reality, your spending habits are steering the ship, not your financial goals. Of course, meeting day-to-day needs is essential, especially when you're carrying so many responsibilities. But the problem is, there's always something to spend on: a school expense, a family gathering, a broken appliance, or maybe just a self-reward purchase because I deserve it. The result? Saving becomes conditional, not a proactive priority. According to research from Bankrate, nearly 63% of Americans can't cover a $500 emergency without borrowing or using a credit card. This isn't a sign they lack income, it's that they haven't treated saving as non-negotiable, like their rent or insurance payments. But simply flipping the order by saving the moment your paycheck arrives can create a massive long-term impact. This is the principle of paying yourself first. It means that every month, before you spend a single dollar, you automatically divert a portion, even just 10%, into a savings or investment account. Whatever remains is what you can actually afford to spend. The benefit goes far beyond watching your balance grow. When you save first, you start living within a controlled, intentional budget instead of spending freely and hoping there's something left. It builds financial discipline and ensures your retirement fund, emergency fund, and kids' education goals don't get swept away in the current of everyday expenses. You can easily automate this through platforms like Fidelity, Vanguard, or your online bank. With just a few clicks, the system will funnel a portion of your income each month into your 401k, Roth IRA, or high-yield savings account before you even have the chance to spend it. The habit of saving what's left is a high-risk strategy because, let's be honest, there's usually nothing left. But when you prioritize saving before spending, you not only gain control of your present finances, you lay down the foundation for a secure and independent financial future. In your middle years, you don't have time to wait for the right moment to start saving. The right moment is now. Stop the silent financial bleeding by putting saving first before any other expense has the chance to sneak in. Because tomorrow's peace of mind begins with today's decision.
7. Lacking basic financial knowledge. In a society where financial decisions influence nearly every aspect of life, from shopping and investing to retirement, lacking basic financial knowledge is no longer a minor disadvantage. It's one of the leading reasons why so many Americans continue to struggle with money, especially in their middle years. Many people go through life without truly understanding compound interest, income tax, inflation, or how the investment market works. As a result, they fall back on familiar habits, putting money into low-yield savings accounts, avoiding stocks or ETFs because they sound risky, and relying solely on Social Security without any clear retirement plan. Meanwhile, the cost of living keeps rising, the value of money keeps shrinking, and those without a financial foundation are watching their wealth silently evaporate. The reason so many people avoid learning about finance is understandable. Personal finance often gets labeled as complex, dry, and hard to access. And in middle age, when your schedule is packed, your mind overwhelmed by work and family obligations, the idea of sitting down to learn about effective interest rates or dividend reinvesting ETFs feels completely out of reach. But it's exactly that mindset that leads millions into common financial traps, taking on high-interest debt without realizing it, investing based on rumors without understanding the fundamentals, or spending freely without grasping the true impact of inflation and taxes. Here's the good news. You don't need to become a financial expert to take control of your money. You just need to be willing to learn the basics, understanding how compound interest works, knowing how to read a simple financial statement, learning the difference between a traditional IRA and a Roth IRA, and grasping the essentials of asset allocation. By doing just that, you've already put yourself ahead of the majority of American adults. According to the National Financial Capability Study, nearly 60% of U.S. adults couldn't correctly answer 5 basic questions about personal finance. That gap doesn't just affect how much money you make. It directly impacts how well you keep it and how effectively you grow it. You can start with simple, manageable steps. Listen to financial podcasts during your commute. Read accessible books like The Psychology of Money or I Will Teach You to Be Rich. Or follow trustworthy YouTube channels that focus on investing and money management. Gaining a clear understanding of how inflation erodes purchasing power, how taxes eat into returns, or how compound interest can double your wealth will help you make smarter, more confident financial decisions every day. Even more important, financial knowledge builds confidence. Instead of feeling anxious every time you face a money-related decision, you'll feel in control. Whether it's about investing, refinancing your mortgage, or planning for retirement. Lacking basic financial knowledge is one of the most silent and dangerous habits. It causes you to waste money, choose the wrong strategies, and depend on others to manage your financial future. And in your middle years, when there's less time to recover from financial mistakes, actively learning and applying financial knowledge is one of the smartest investments you can make, and it's never too late to start. Stop the small leaks that drain your wealth. Pick one habit to change today. That single decision is the start of building a sustainable fortune. Like and subscribe so you don't miss the next video. Make that one small change now. See you soon.